going on, guys? Kirk here from MotoGear TV. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. And as you guys can see right behind me, I'm here to talk to you guys about my brand new wheel setup. Let's get started. Alright, so the time has finally come. I know a lot of you guys have been anticipating this, myself included. Just wanted to give you guys the full rundown of my setup, from my tire specs also to the wheels. Now I'm going to be showing you guys this in a second, but I wanted to start off by basically going over the setup, why I chose it, and what's the next steps before I mount them. Now the topic of wheel specs has been pretty significant over the last few weeks. I know a lot of my fellow YouTubers have been going over this. If you guys follow the Daily Driven, Ken, he went over his wheel specs and also the importance of sharing it just with the community. I know there's a lot of M2 owners right now who are pretty interested in running a staggered setup and not necessarily sure what the best fitment would be. A lot of M2 owners, they would typically go anywhere from 18 all the way up to 20. I didn't want to necessarily go for a 20-inch setup, and I didn't want to necessarily go for 18-inch setup. Now I decided to finalize and stick with 19s. Actually going to be doing a staggered setup on this, but just a little bit more aggressive than what my stock fitment is right now. For those of you who don't know, the stock setup on my car, I have a 19 by 9-inch wheel in the front and a 19 by 10-inch wheel in the back. The tires I'm running are the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. It's a standard fitment, 265 35 19, and in the front we're doing 245 35 19. However, for the new setup, I'm deciding to go slightly different, a little bit wider both in the front and the rear. This time around we're going to be doing Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, 265 30 19 in the front, and in the rear, this is where it gets very interesting, guys. I'm going to be doing a 295 30 19 setup, also 4S tires. Now this is a pretty wide fitment for the M2. However, based on some of the examples I've seen online, this will fit. Now a big inspiration for running this fitment comes from a company called Lightweight. Now this is a company overseas. They did a M2 final edition and they were running these exact tire specs on the car. Also, I was able to get their wheel specs as well, and this is what we're going to be using for the new wheel setup. Now as you guys can see, I decided to go with some Vossen wheels. Vossen is a company I've been working with for a number of years. They've done wheels for me on my previous car. I had an Audi S4 with some 20-inch wheels, and they also did the bronze wheels on Mark's 335i as well. Now Vossen, I can't speak anything but highly of them. They've been great with me over the last few years. Excellent quality products, excellent customer service. Now shout out to Kevin, he's one of their sales leads that works for them. Pretty good friend of mine, also up in Jamaica. Me and him were able to kind of discuss all the specs and the possible wheel fitments that would be perfect for this car, and I think we nailed it right on the head. Just to go over the specs really quickly with you guys, I decided to do a 19 by 9.5 setup, 27 offset, and in the rear we're doing a 19 by 10.5 with a 40 offset. Now if this was an M2 competition, I would have to run a higher offset in the back simply to clear the big brakes. Luckily for the OG M2 owners, you're able to run a lower offset, and with this I think it's going to give it a nice flush fit setup. Don't believe I'll have to run any spacers. When we get the wheels mounted on the car, I'll have to do my final calculations and make sure everything is okay. Now I don't want to waste any more time. I know you guys came to see what the wheels are going to be. I'm happy to announce this is going to be my brand new wheel setup, so here it is, guys. it is, Vossen HF5. Now this has been a design I've been wanting to put on the car for some time now. It's a classic wide spoke, and trust me, the video doesn't do it any justice. The way the design is set up is very intricate, has a lot of cuts and grooves, and I think it's going to be an excellent addition to complement the already aggressive lines of the car. Now I did do this in a custom color finish. This is a powder coat color called Suitor's Gold. Now the initial color theme I wanted to go with was something that would resemble the frozen gold seen on the M2 CS. I did decide to go with this color simply because it was the closest. I actually got the powder coats from this company called Prismatic Powders. They have a really nice variety of different colors and shades that you guys can choose from. Pretty quick shipping as well. Honestly, this was pretty hard. We had about 10 different shades of gold that we had to choose from. This honestly I think was the closest one based on what we saw online. But honestly, after getting it in person, I have to say I really think it looks better than the frozen gold. In my opinion, it honestly reminds me of the magnesium wheel seen on the Porsche 911 GT2 RS. I think that color is called white gold if I'm not mistaken. I think we really nailed it. My thing was I didn't want to get something that was too gold or too yellow gold. I want something to have like a faint fade between silver and gold. I really think this finish was ideal for the car, especially it being black. It's going to give it a nice contrast and also add to some of the gold accents we already have on the car and some of the other pieces we plan to add in the future. Now it is a polyurethane powder and it has a slight hint of metallic. You guys can kind of see closely. It gives it a really nice sheen and I think it complements the overall lines of the wheel perfectly. This process took us a few days. I actually wanted to show you guys a few clips of what it took to get to this stage. Honestly, I learned a lot from this process and I think you guys are going to appreciate what it took to get to this. So let's jump into it right now. Alright guys, so we're here at All Out Power Sports here in Daytona Beach. We're about to get the wheels set up to get painted. Super excited to finally get this process done. I'm going to take you guys inside right now so you guys can meet the owner and see the entire process. Got the machines lined up, looking super nice right now. Kind of dirty. Mark's car that we don't really see on the channel too often. We need to make sure we fix that. Alright guys, so as I mentioned before, we're here at All Out Power Sports here in Daytona Beach. I'm here with the owner and operator Dan. He's going to be talking with us to explain a little bit about the entire process of what it takes to get the wheel prepped and also the process of getting the wheels powder coated. So Dan, you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the wheel out and we're going to put it in the B17 chemical stripper to get all the paint and everything that's on there off. And then once that's done, we'll wash the wheel off and then we'll put it into the sandblaster and clean the whole wheel up and get it ready for the powder coat. 400 degrees at 10 minutes, which is what almost every powder is, not all of them. Some of them are like 375 for 15 minutes, but...
Is there any difference in the time depending on the material that the wheel is made
Well,
of?
not really, because you're timing it based on when the part gets to 400 degrees. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing like steel, which takes a little longer to get to the temperature, you just have to wait until the part gets to 400 degrees before you start your timer.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like the oven's at 400 degrees, you stick it in for 10 minutes. Yeah. You wait till the part gets to 400 degrees, then you time, then you start your timer.
And you're able to tell how hot the material gets?
Yeah, I got, right now it's at 73 degrees.
Okay, nice.
My oven has, on the inside, it has a thermometer in there that tells you what temperature it is in there, but just because it's like 400 degrees in there does not mean the part is 400 degrees. Yeah. Sometimes it'll be like 450 degrees in the oven, but the part won't get above like 405 degrees. You got to go based on what the substrate temperature is.
Well, I'm super excited to get this entire process started. The way it is right now, what's going to be the first step with us like getting started?
First step is I'm going to take it out of there and I'm going to put it in the stripper. Okay. I'm going to get all that stuff off. Powder coat primer, it may take like 15 to 20 minutes to get it all off. Okay. If it's paint, it'll come off within like 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, so you just let it sit?
Yep, you just let it sit in there and then once you just keep checking it, make sure everything, sometimes I spin the wheel a little bit and then I'll put it in, the other tank is water and baking soda and it neutralizes the acid. And then once I take it out of there, I bring it outside, I put it on the ground and I wash it just to make sure that there's none of that stuff left in there. Okay. Because it burns like acid. Oh wow. Parts that were like just the color of the powder, so it wasn't mixing right, so I had to buy this so that it would mix everything together real good. But so I put the powder in there, then I flip it on, adjust the air pressures on both of these, and then pull the trigger, and it comes out this long tube, and you have to ground the part. So you use a ground and hook it to the hook, and everything just sticks to it.
So from the process of you like coating it with the powder, how long before you throw it in the oven, or is it
right away? As soon as I'm done powder coating it, I wheel it out and I put it in the oven.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to let it sit or anything like that. It just, you want to do really the whole process quickly. Once you sandblast, like I can strip it, all of them right now, and then wait until like Monday, which I'm probably going to have to do, set them to the side. Then I'll sandblast all of them on Monday. And once I sandblast them, I clean them off and I put them on this, and then I just do the whole process. You don't want to let it sit too long after you sandblast it. Like I said, it'll start oxidizing.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the first one.
Yeah.
So as you guys just saw, we got the first step done for the first wheel. When I have Dan just explain what happened, and then we can see how the process continues.
So we put the wheel in the B17 stripper to get all the other paint and powder coat or whatever was on there off to get it prepped for the sandblasting. We put another one in there, so the wheel should be all set to sandblast it. We got the next 3 to go.
Alright guys, and that about wraps it up for this process. I'm going to leave Dan to get everything finished and prepped for the next few days, and then we're going to jump right back in to finish the powder coating process.
So we're sandblasting all the wheels down to get anything that might be stuck to the wheel off of it, just cleaning it real good. And then after this, once they're all sandblasted, we'll take them outside and we'll wash them, and then we'll put them in the oven and outgas them. And then once they're outgassed and cooled down, we'll be ready to put the powder on.
Alright, so hope you guys enjoyed seeing the process of getting the wheels powder coated. Once again, big shout out to Dan at All Out Powder Coating. Super excellent, great quality service. Would recommend him for anybody interested in getting their wheels powder coated in the Daytona area. I'm going to leave all of his contact information in the description below. And also, big shout out to Vossen for working with us on this project. I'm super excited to put these wheels on. If you guys like this video, as a matter of fact, if this video gets 100 likes, I'm going to release a video of these mounted on the car, and you're not going to want to miss that one. Stay tuned for all of the exciting content we have lined up. The car is far from finished. We have a lot of nice additions to add on the car before BMW Invasion. That's February 19th. Make sure you guys look out for that as well. As I mentioned before, me and Mark are going to have the cars on display. It's going to be really exciting. Really looking forward to meeting everybody and seeing all the other builds. And most importantly, I'm going to be excited to showcase my build. Again, for all of you who have been watching us from the start, I really appreciate. For all of you guys who've been watching us, including the birds, I've really been excited to showcase all of our builds so far. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate all of it. We honestly wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for the support of you guys. I'm bringing you all this awesome content, but trust me, there's way more to go. I'm gonna close out the vlog right now. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, see you on the next one. We out.